Okay, so this is the best part of the show. Part of the show where we're kind of doing something different with you because you said you wanted to present more than to interview because of what you do for a living. So,
well, we could do.
We're gonna do a little bit of both. We're gonna do a little bit of both.
It's your show.
We're gonna ask you certain. We're gonna ask you. Because we still got to ask you certain questions. So, what is it exactly that you do?
So, like I said earlier, I specialize in credit repair, on personal credit, and then we help our clients with setting up their business credit as well, and now funding. But what that looks like is with credit repair is a lot of people in this country have low credit scores, right? And those low credit scores are due to what's called negative items that are on their credit report. So, we help them to get those negative items removed so that the credit score goes up, and then properly structure out the credit report so that they can go on for funding and that kind of thing. And that comes in like a variety of different ways because obviously everybody has different needs. So for some people, they just may want to get their credit together so that they can go and purchase a car to get a lower interest rate or even a house. But again, we can get pretty much anything removed off of a credit report, and a lot of people don't know that is that they're sitting around or going years with having a bad credit score and not knowing that they can get this stuff. Yeah, they can get this stuff removed just by contacting us and getting their credit repaired. But on the business side of things, like I said, we help entrepreneurs and business owners properly set up their business credit profile so that they can go for funding and that kind of thing. I know I keep saying funding, but that means going to get money because a lot of business owners don't have money. Right. A lot of people may not know that, or maybe you do, I don't know, but money is the most important thing in that particular area, and it's a pretty cool concept to be able to use other people's money, and you can do that and then multiple times over and over and over if you have multiple LLCs just off of one credit score. So just simply fixing your credit report can take you a long way.
So it's pretty much just like believing in somebody else's dream, as far as if your credit is good enough, as far as who's funding you, they believe whatever you have is actually something that could be.
Well, it's just going to the banks, man. I mean, we got a lot of banks out here that's that's ready to lend us some money, but that concept is pretty cool because you have entrepreneurs that are doing various things. So let's just say you're in real estate, for example. You may have someone who is very knowledgeable in real estate, know exactly what to do. They just don't have the money. So they could simply have good credit and then be able to go and access the money to go and purchase their first fix or flip and get started that way, and then come out with money on the back end and be able to also pay back the money that they borrowed. Now you cash flow whatever $10,000 plus in your own pocket, and then you can go right back and do the same thing again. So it works in various different ways. We got clients in many different areas, man, who are able to go get the funds that they need and start cash flowing, be able to pay the money back, and now you're reaching all your financial dreams and that kind of thing.
So how did you get started? Like, was it something personal that made you get into this business? Like, was it something like when you were going to start a business and you were like, oh, I'm about to start a business, maybe I could do this to help other people start businesses?
Man, I stumbled upon this whole credit game. It was about 5 or so years ago, maybe a little bit longer than that. But a friend of mine, he sent me an email one day with all of these credit letters, right? And I didn't really know. I knew about credit, but I didn't really know about credit the way I do now. Okay. And he sent me all of these letters, and I remember one night I'm just looking through them, and they were all like dispute letters that you could use to fix your credit. Yeah. And that just kind of sparked something in my mind, like, damn, maybe I could do this. You know what I'm saying? So I tried it on myself first, and the stuff actually worked. And I'm going like, wow, like this works. I could do this for other people too. So I just started learning more and more and more about credit. And this was, like I said, maybe late 2018, early 2019. Fast forward 2021, I joined a mentorship. And my mentor, he was actually really big in the credit space. And I did that for the purpose of what he knew. And then I just felt like I could take what it is that he was teaching, apply it to my business, and blow it up. And that's what I did, man.
Have you seen like a lot of success or hear of a lot of success for people that you've actually helped? Because I know, and have it caused like referral type?
Man, it's funny too. It's funny how things work. So coming in here to do this show with y'all tonight, I walked in. This guy knew who I was. All me and him ever done is talk on the phone. I've helped him and his wife. Wow. But never met them in person. You saw when you came up, I was talking to the guy.
I thought they were part of your crew. Like.
No, I know them, but I had never met them in person. Okay. And they recognized me, and I was on the phone with them maybe sometime mid-September, and they called me and told me what happened with their credit report, and that they were over 700, or the credit score was over 750, all of the negative items removed. We were on the phone. I was going crazy in the background. Like, I'm going crazy upstairs. My daughter came upstairs and was like to see what was going on, what I was yelling about. But it was because I was just so excited that, that their credit score had increased, like that. But like I said, I had never met them. So yeah, man, I've helped a lot of people, but I genuinely get excited like that when, I'm helping people change their situation financially and that kind of thing.
So, kind of piggybacking off of what you said about how you got a mentor, have you ever thought of mentoring maybe like younger generation? Because nowadays the younger generation, when it comes to money, they spend money like crazy. So, or they're not really concerned about a credit score, know what a credit score is, or have you ever thought about maybe going to like a local high school, or just starting up some type of program for kids?
That's pretty cool that you said that or asked me that too, because I have an entire curriculum written out that's geared just strictly for high school seniors, just because they're the closest ones to adulthood. Like, I wouldn't mind teaching it to high schoolers in general, or really kids on any level. But specifically it's geared towards high school seniors, being that they're going right into adulthood, so they would know, and they don't have to face some of the same setbacks or lack of knowledge that we may have faced. Because God knows we never learn about credit in school.
No, especially it's just not in the black community.
It's just not a program. We were never taught. I know I was never taught anything about credit.
Because a lot of people's parents they had bad credit.
Yeah, and I didn't know. Like I said, growing up, I never knew nothing about it. I remember my mother once talking to me about a credit card. I got my first credit card when I was like 18 or 19, something like that. It's like $300 or something, man. I went and bought some shoes with it or whatever, but my mother telling me, just use it in case of emergency or something like that, pay it right off and that kind of thing. But it was like,
in 1 ear out the other.
It was like that, but it was also like, man, like what I actually know about it now, like we've been missing out. So definitely I would love to, help kids out or young adults with teaching them about this, because it's something that they absolutely need to know, because you need credit in America. You have to have it. You know what I'm saying?
It's not like other countries. Other countries, like, you have the money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Especially a lot of there's other European countries where you can go to where you have money and you can buy it. But in America, you need credit.
Right.
Because it helps you we have to live, get a home. You want to get a home.
Yeah,
but you want to pay high, even though homes are expensive now, but if you want to rent, and renting is like way more expensive than mortgage.
Almost everything is based on credit. So, to have information on it and then be able to access, things such as, cars, houses, apartments, whatever it is, money, you have to have it. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, you can't, there's no way around it.
And that's one good thing that I could say that my father taught me, because my father, he was cheap, like, like Julius on Everybody Hates Chris.
Okay.
But my dad, he taught me, like, when I was 16, got my first job, got my first paycheck, he took me to the bank, opened up a checking and savings account, showed me, hey, you put this percentage of your check in your savings account. He told me to stay away from credit cards. If you do get a credit card, make sure you pay it over. You pay it off, or even pay over, whatever the monthly limit and everything. So, I mean, he wasn't really well versed in, credit, but he showed me, a little bit of, tricks of the beginning tricks of the trade of, saving money and not to, spend frivolously
right.
with credit cards and stuff, and borrowing money and everything, even with cars. Like, he purchased my first car, but I learned how to make a monthly payment. I was 16 years old, had to pay my insurance. So it's something that I'm passing down to my son as well. So I think, like, when you get those examples at a young age, you learn how to do a few things.
Right, and that's important. But you have to keep in mind also that everybody's situation is different.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have the entrepreneurs who are trying to go out and access or cash flow, I should say.
Yeah.
So they have to be able to go out and access capital to do that.
Yeah.
But you have other people who, just like I said, want to get a car and get one at a decent interest rate.
Yeah.
Versus somebody going to get a used car and paying a higher interest rate when you can go and get a newer car and pay a lower interest rate, or be paying like around about the same car note.
Yeah.
You have no idea how many people I deal with, and they have these used cars, and they're paying damn near what I'm paying for a brand new car. You know what I'm saying? And I got a better interest rate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So those factors, I should say, are very important where credit is concerned too.
Do you see, like, as far as like what's on the credit report, like different? What's the main thing that you see that can easily come off people's credit reports, and they just let it sit there? Like, oh, my credit's bad. I need to file bankruptcy. Because if I'm like, go file bankruptcy one day, it'd be like $200. File bankruptcy. It'd be like,
a lot of it is like collections. A lot of collections. Hospital bills. Well, not really hospital bills anymore, because they stopped that from being allowed to be reported on the credit report. And I think hospital bills over a certain amount. I can't remember, but collections for the most part is what I would say I see a lot. And then inquiries, because a lot of people go to these car dealerships, and they'll just blast your credit report, like, because they're calling every bank. They don't care nothing about you. They just want to get you approved and get you out of there. Yeah. So they'll call 50 banks if they got to, and then you come home or you look up and you got 50 inquiries sitting on your credit report. So that's what I see a lot of.
And then it'd be like, you got all these approval letters. I'm about to go buy me a new car.
You
bought a new car, and you bought your credit some time that it's going to need to be repaired in the future.
Yeah. So, while I'm on that, I'll say that what I recommend in that particular area, just to give people some understanding, is that you have various different banks that people may have relationships with. So, like, for example, if you are in the market for a new car, but you bank at Bank of America, or you have a credit union account, always go to your bank first and get, like, because most of them do auto loans. Allow them to run your credit, so that way it's only one inquiry. And you get the approval letter, and you can just go and pick out, like, you call the shots basically at that point. You can go and pick out whatever it is that you want. That dealership doesn't need to run your credit.
And doesn't it make it easier now where people can actually purchase a car online opposed to going to a dealership and getting...
Yeah, in some cases, I guess. I don't really know. I'm not really familiar with that. I always just say that, you can definitely apply online with a bank, or even, go into your bank or credit union to get your approval. But I would recommend doing it that way versus going into a dealership and letting them, because they're going to do it. They're going to run your credit a bunch of times until they get you approved for something.
You don't want that.
No.
Run it up.
So you got anything else that you want to say to, you want to help our audience and make sure, you give them a little bit of game, not too much, because we know they got to pay for it.
Well, definitely. credit is important. You have to have credit in this country. I don't understand why more people don't want to have good credit, because you can access so much more. It just makes your life so much easier. You have to think, when you're working for money, you kind of playing the game from behind, right? When you can go and access money, you know, that will help you get a lot further than having to, you know, work for it and that kind of thing. It just takes too much work to be able to say, well, I'm going to go save up $50,000 for a year to go invest in this business, when you can go and access that using your credit and get it in 24 hours or less in some
And
cases.
still have your $50,000.
Yeah, and still, you know, nothing wrong with stacking your money up. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things that I would like for people to understand. And then the next, what is it? I don't know how many more days is left in a year, but I'm looking to take 100 people
Okay.
for the remainder of the year and get them at minimum $100,000 in funding. It's available.
Okay, well, we're about to move on with the rest of the show. You're still going to be here. We'll still have your part of the rest of the show. So
Let's do it.
We're going to talk about a lot of stuff, man.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some stuff on camera, about investments and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
You know, he look at this game.
We're getting some free games.
He look at it. He
Yeah, I'm going to turn y'all up, man.